My beloved child, keep your heart steadfast, for what is coming will shake your entire perception of the world. It will no longer be a vague theory, but a living reality drawing nearer with every breath you take. Your life will no longer proceed as it once did, and that is my intention. I have woven the very things you never wanted into the most important parts of your story. I have taken the brokenness you feared and built from it something eternal that you never dared dream. I do not need your plan for. I have had one for you long before you even knew you'd need a way out. You thought the best things would come when everything was smooth, when your plans followed a perfect timeline, when your prayers were answered just as you wished. But no, I am not bound by your emotions, nor do I operate according to human logic. What you call delay, I call perfect timing. What feels like disappointment to you, I call removing what doesn't belong. What feels like being pushed out of your comfort zone is actually me pulling you out of the cage wrapped in the familiar. I have not come to pamper your fragile ego. I have come to rescue your soul from even the things you thought were good. You cried out in the night and asked me, why? Why did I stay silent when you needed to hear? Why did I let things fall apart without stepping in? But it is in those very moments when I seemed farthest away that I was working closest to you. Because my plans don't begin where things are perfect. They often begin in the ruins, in the tearing of the heart, in the places where nothing remains to lean on but me. I do not need a clean foundation. I need a surrendered heart. And if I must bring down every proud structure you've built, I will do it. Because my love does not compromise with what is partial. I love you enough to tear down what you once thought was meaningful in order to build something of eternal worth. Now, when everything lies in pieces, look more closely. In those fragments, I am igniting a new light. Not the glitter of old expectations, but the light of a vision you never knew you needed. I am reassembling every part of your life according to a blueprint you could never have drawn, because if left to you, you would choose ease over growth, the temporary over the eternal. But I did not design you for a fleeting life. I made you to live with glory, and that is why the unexpected is exactly what I have ordained. My plan is not constrained by time, nor does it follow human reasoning. I do not act under pressure. I do not make decisions in haste. When I begin something, it is because the timing is ripe in eternity, not because you begged long enough, nor because everything around you seemed ready. I see the whole story from beginning to end, while you only glimpse a short stretch ahead. You often want things to happen quickly, instantly, in ways you can understand. But if I worked that way, you would lose the most precious thing I am quietly building you: stronger in faith, deeper in spirit, greater in obedience. I know there are days when you feel as though I have forgotten you. You count the seasons, passing the unanswered prayers, and begin to feel overlooked. But oh child, I have never turned my face from you, not for one moment. Everything I do flows in the rhythm of an eternal plan. What you call too late is only because you have not yet seen the purpose hidden within. You see the now, I am preparing the not yet. You want to escape the hardship, I am using the hardship to deepen your roots, so that when I open the door, you'll have the strength to walk through without collapsing under the weight. What I've destined for you is not shallow or fleeting. I do not give you a happiness the world can purchase. I give you something timeless, something that stands in the storm, shines in the dark, and holds you steady when everything else is shaking. So if my plan seems slow, it is because I am protecting you from the very things you mistook as blessings. You may think you're ready, but I see what still needs to be touched, adjusted, healed. I love you too much to make peace with haste. And remember this, my child, when I do something, it is not only for today, but for your legacy, your lineage, your eternity. What I am preparing for you may come from where you least expect, through people you never imagined, in ways you've never dreamed. For I am the Lord, the one who makes all things new in my own way. You do not need to understand everything to trust. You only need to trust me enough to keep walking. Let me lead you even when you don't see the whole picture. Because when the time comes, everything will become clear, and you will know I was never late, never absent, and never stopped loving you. My beloved child, when everything around you begins to shake, when the things that once stood firm suddenly collapse, you often think you are being pulled away from grace. You sigh, worry, and ask, "What is happening, Lord?" But I want you to know this. The shaking is not a sign of separation. It is proof that I am moving more deeply than ever before. I do not shake to punish, I shake to reveal, to draw out of you the things that cannot carry into what I'm about to do. Some things must fall away so what I am planting can take deeper root. What you call loss, I call clearing. You see what was taken and feel defeated. But I see what is being removed so that you can receive something better. I do not remove anything unless it is obstructing your forward path. Whether it is a person, an opportunity, or a dream, if it does not serve the eternal purpose, I will not let it anchor you down. Sometimes, my love comes in a form you do not expect. It arrives as loss, but it is meant to rescue you from what you didn't know would harm you later. Trust me, nothing is taken from you without passing through the fullness of my love. There are turns in your journey you believed were the end, but no, dear one. In my kingdom, what you call an ending is often just the doorway to another beginning. A beginning, not within your calculations, but fully within my plan. When one door closes, it is because another has already been prepared to open a door that leads to something higher, deeper, wider. But I know if you cling to the old, your hands won't be free to receive the new. So I let you endure the shaking, not to hurt you, but to cut off what's slowing your steps toward your destiny. You felt the unease in your soul, the nameless stirring. Do not be quick to dismiss it. Do not rush to cover it. I am letting you feel the fracture, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Sometimes what I use to move you is not a gentle miracle, but a powerful wind that overturns all that once felt calm. It is in this discomfort that I am pulling you from the limits that once held you. Do not resist what I am doing. Do not cling to what I am unraveling. Let me lead you into transformation, even if it arrives in ways you never expected. I am not punishing you with the shaking, I am preparing you through it. I am forging your heart to be strong enough to carry the glory that is about to be poured out. When everything around you no longer holds its former shape, you will learn to fix your eyes on me, the one who never changes. And then in the noise of the breaking you will hear my gentle voice, I am still here. I am still holding your hand. And I am doing a new thing. You are not abandoned. You are being refined. You are being made ready. My beloved child, I know that deep in your heart you have always believed in me. Yet at times, because you have once seen me act in a certain way, you unconsciously confine me to that same pattern. You hope I will repeat the miracle as before. You expect me to respond like the last time, and you assume that if I don't move the same way, it means I am silent. But my child, I do not repeat myself. I am not bound by formula. I am the creator. I always do something new in a new way at a new time, for an unchanging purpose, yet with a fresh expression. If your eyes are fixed only on the past, you will not perceive what I am doing right in front of you. Sometimes you wait for a thunderous miracle, a dramatic breakthrough, but I may be working in silence within the smallest of things. My glory is not only revealed from pulpits or amidst loud praises. I am present in the kitchen where you serve quietly, in the moment you forgive with no one watching, and each tear you think goes unseen. The renewal I bring doesn't always come with fireworks or dazzling light. It comes like a seed, quiet yet powerful, slow but sure. And if you are only seeking the extraordinary, you may miss the supernatural that is unfolding within the ordinary. The blessings I give do not always appear as you imagine. You hope they come in forms easily recognized, readily embraced, proudly shared. Yet often the good I prepare for you arrives in an uninviting shape, a new responsibility that wears you out, a small doorway that makes you hesitate, a person you once wished to avoid who becomes my messenger of confirmation. That is why you must keep your heart open, so I can define what blessing truly is instead of you. Let me design the path, not just be called in to fix its twists. I do not change in essence, but I always act in creative ways. Do not limit me to your past experiences. Release the expectation that I can only move in ways familiar to you. For if you insist on a repeat of the old, you will miss the new bloom arising in the dry season. If your gaze is locked on what I once did, you may shut your eyes to what I am doing now. I am unveiling something new. Not just for tomorrow, but today, and every breath, every small decision, every act of humble obedience you choose. So quiet your heart, and learn to recognize me in the present. Do not search only for me in the loud echoes, listen for me in the gentle breeze. I am still whispering your name, and if you pause long enough you will realize what seems ordinary to you is what I am using to do the extraordinary. Do not overlook the small things. Do not underestimate each step. I am doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it, my beloved? Do not let your gaze be distracted by the footsteps of others. Do not let the pace of the world convince you that you are falling behind. I do not measure you by clocks, nor value you by milestones set by men. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where I want you to be, where my hand is quietly but surely at work. When you look around and see others entering their harvest, I do not want you to feel envy or shame, for their season is not yours. And your season it will come in the time I have appointed. With fruit only I can fully prepare. I know the waiting wearies your soul. I know what it feels like to be hidden in the shadows, unrecognized, unnamed, unheard. But my child, hiddenness is not punishment. It is grace. I am shielding you from things that could harm you before you are ready to bear their weight. I am refining, forging, strengthening the innermost parts of you, so when the time comes you will stand firm, unshaken by glory or burden. I hide you not because I've forgotten you, but because you are precious. I only conceal what I am perfecting, and I prepare with great care only what I intend to use greatly. You sense silence, but I am speaking. You see slowness, but I am building. I am deepening the roots within you, so that when the season of unveiling arrives, you will not merely blossom outwardly, but be able to sustain true life within. I will not rush you into the light only to see you consumed by its weight. I love you too much for that, so if now is a season of concealment, be grateful, for it is the sign that I am preparing something of worth, something eternal. Every person I create has a time to be revealed. Some bloom early, others bear fruit later, but each is timed perfectly by me. You do not need to push for visibility. I see you. You do not need to compete for recognition. I have already called you by name. My eyes have never left you, not even in the seasons that seem invisible. Let faithfulness and obedience do their work in this season. The time will come when I call you forth not as one fragile, but as a living witness of my faithfulness. Keep walking even with small steps. Keep believing even without results. Keep being faithful even without applause. For it is this very moment, not the day of celebration, but the day of preparation, that I am nearest to you. And when I reveal you, no one will be able to deny you were formed by my own hand, my beloved child. I know there are days when you wake up feeling like you're drifting in a storm with no escape. You feel far from me, empty, unloved as before. But my child, your emotions may shift, but my love does not. What you feel is real. I do not dismiss that. Yet emotion is not the final truth. It is like the wave rising and falling, while I am the unshakable rock. When your feelings rise and fall, anchor yourself in this truth. I still love you, still choose you, still hold you just as I did the first time I called you by name. I know that your world sometimes feels like it's collapsing when diagnoses surprise, when loved ones walk away, when the future grows dim. Yet in that chaos I remain your defender. Even when you don't see it, I am fighting for you. Even when you don't hear it, I am instructing you. When everything falls apart, my hand is still holding you steady. You may tremble, but I do not. You may doubt, but I do not change my mind. I love you not only on the days you are strong, but even more on the days you fall. My love does not withdraw when you are weak, it draws nearer. My grace is not limited by your failures or shortcomings. It does not come because you are worthy, and it does not leave when you falter. That grace is a garment always fitting for you, whether in the valley or on the mountaintop. It fills every gap, the wounds unhealed, the places unclear, the things undone. You don't need to be okay to be loved by me. You only need to be honest and come near. For I did not come to condemn, but to save. Not to highlight your brokenness, but to restore everything once thought beyond repair. My mercy does more than soothe past mistakes, it rewrites your entire story, not by erasing it, but by redefining it, not by starting over, but by making new from the middle. I take the chapters you wish to hide and turn them into testimonies of grace. I use both tears and laughter to paint the most complete picture, and I promise you the story is not over. The pen is still in my hand. You have not gone too far to return. You have not done anything beyond my forgiveness. And just when you think nothing can be redeemed, that's when I begin writing the best part. So, my child, when your emotions waver, when your circumstances shake your sense of worth, pause. Remember who I am. Remember whose you are. My love does not waver. My grace does not run dry. My mercy does not grow weary. And what I have begun in you, I will faithfully complete. Not because you are strong enough, but because I am the unchanging, faithful one. My beloved child, be still and listen, not with your ears, but with the soul that longs to be lifted. I do not come to make you tremble with power, but to touch you with a love that runs deep. Not for a single moment have I stopped watching the beat of your heart. I have seen every time your head bowed heavy with burdens, and heard every sigh you were too afraid to speak aloud. I walked beside you through the roads no one else knew, through long nights unseen by any eye. And now, as the moment I have appointed draws near, I want you to know that not a second of your waiting has been in vain. Perhaps you've thought I was late. Perhaps you've felt abandoned at a crossroad where everyone else seemed to pass. But oh, my child, I have never forsaken a soul that belongs to me. Every moment of your waiting, every day you walked without seeing change, those were bricks I quietly laid, forming the foundation for something far greater than you imagined. I do not need you to run fast. I only ask you to believe and keep walking steadily, for you are not walking alone. There are things you do not understand. Losses that feel irreparable, wounds that seem too deep to ever heal. But I have seen the very bottom of those wounds, places where light struggles to reach, yet my love has never been shut out. I do not allow suffering for my own joy. I allow pain only when I know it will birth something more beautiful. Not a single tear you've cried has fallen to the ground unnoticed. And one day I will use those very tears to water the new life I am bringing forth in you. You may have asked me, why does the good come so late while pain comes too soon? My child, because what is truly good takes time to endure. I do not craft what is fragile just to please your passing desires. I am building what is eternal. What you're walking through is not your destination. It is the journey. I do not love you more once you have achieved something. I love you completely, even in your weakness, even when you waver, even when you feel you have nothing left to offer me but your disappointment. I know you are tired. I know you're trying to hold on to faith, though your heart is full of doubt. Come close to me, my child. Do not fear your mess. Do not fear my judgment. I am not seeking perfection from you. I seek a tender heart, a heart brave enough to draw near to me, even in confusion. My love does not depend on performance. My grace is not hindered by your stumbles. If only you knew how deeply I love you, you would never again question your worth, even on your darkest day. My silence is not a rejection. It is the time when I am working in the depths where no one sees, where even you do not yet understand. I am building strength within you, teaching you to walk by faith and not by feeling. Because the day will come when you will stand in storms and not tremble. The day will come when your mouth will speak life into places that once silenced you in fear. But to reach that day, you must learn to be steadfast in the quiet places. Oh, child, do not search for me only in the noise. Do not believe that I dwell only in the grand. I am there too, in the gentle eyes of a stranger, in the moment you pause to help another, even when you yourself are in need. I speak to you daily, but if you keep seeking me through old patterns, you may miss the new thing I am doing. Let me open your eyes, not just to see what's happening around you, but to discern what I'm working deep within you. I have seen your earnest prayers. But my child, I not only hear your words, I see the heart behind them. Some things you've asked out of fear, others from impatience. But I will not give what your heart is not yet ready to carry. Sometimes delay is not because the blessing is too big, but because your healing is not yet deep enough to receive it fully. And when I heal completely. No patchwork, no pieces left behind. You have never been abandoned by me. I've only hidden you for protection, for refining, for renewing you from within. I shield you from the eyes of others, not to diminish your worth, but to lift you up at the right time. Because what comes in haste often fades quickly. But what I build will endure forever. And if you are in a season where everything is quiet, every door seems shut, do not call it abandonment. That is the season where I am working most. Learn to rest in my sovereignty. Not the kind of rest that comes from understanding everything, but the kind that trusts me even when you don't. There are questions I haven't answered, not because I don't have answers, but because it is not yet time for you to know. My silence is not distance. It is an invitation to go deeper, not to turn away. Keep walking step by step, even when you cannot see the full path. I go before you, and every step you take is on ground I have already prepared. The day will come when what you are going through now will become your testimony. Not just a tale of suffering, but a song of faithfulness. The tears you thought were wasted will bloom into fruit-bearing seeds. The years you called delays will become the firm ground upon which you'll stand on high places. You will see, I was never late, never absent, never turned away. And on that day, when you look back, you will no longer mourn what I withheld, nor regret the doors that remained closed. For you will understand everything I did was drenched in love and guided by eternal purpose. I waste nothing, not even pain. So keep believing, my child, even if your heart trembles. Keep obeying, even if you have not yet seen the way through. Because with every beat of your heart I am whispering I am doing a new thing. Wait for me, for what I am preparing will exceed all you have ever asked for or imagined, my beloved child. Do not keep your eyes fixed on the past. Do not measure what I am about to do by what I have done before. I know you have seen me move, you have tasted deliverance, you have witnessed miracles. But my child, I am not confined to history. I am not bound by the memory you hold. I do not recycle old wonders. I do not repeat the past. I am always creating, always renewing, always drawing you into something deeper, far beyond anything you could ask or imagine. If you cling to the old patterns, the limits formed by your own mind, you will miss the vibrant present I am placing before you. If you keep searching for the signs I once used, you may not see the new paths opening right beneath your feet. I am not coming the same way. I am not speaking in the voice you once recognized. I am not moving through the ones you once thought were my vessels. But still I am coming. Still I am speaking. Still I am doing a new thing. And this new thing is the gift I have prepared for you in this season if you are willing to open your heart and receive it. I see how long you've waited. The days of silence have dimmed the hope that once burned brightly. There were nights you lay still, breathing deeply, just to keep your heart from breaking, and I was there. Not a single tear fell without my notice. Not one choking silence went unheard. I did not stand outside your pain, I stepped into it with you. Not to avoid it, but to transform it, so that within the suffering you would discover a life you never knew. So that when everything seemed lost, you would realize the one thing most precious never left you, my presence. You may think of pain as the enemy, something to be overcome as quickly as possible. But in my hands, pain becomes a tool of purification. Like fire refining gold, like pressure shaping coal into diamonds, I use suffering to sculpt the depths of your heart, not to break you, but to build your resilience. Not to make you question my love, but to help you understand it more deeply, more truly, more powerfully. There are truths you can only learn in the dark. There are parts of you that only break open when there is nothing left to hold on to but me. You've built walls around your heart, afraid to be hurt again. I see that. I understand why you did it. But I love you enough to break them down. I will let you feel pain for a moment so you don't have to live in pain forever. I will allow some things you thought were permanent to fall away so you'll know your true foundation is found in nothing and no one but me. I do not tear down to leave you empty. I tear down to make space. Space for true peace, for real vision, for love that is not dependent on conditions or outcomes. I am doing a new thing within you, and it does not come in haste. It takes time. It takes walking together. It takes a softened heart. You may not realize it, but the moment you feel like you're falling is when your roots are going the deepest. The moment you feel delayed is when I am laying a foundation that no one can destroy. Do not measure the worth of your journey by what others display. Do not measure my love by how often you get what you want. True love sometimes hides in the waiting. True grace sometimes wears the robe of challenge. And true blessing, though not always sweet, is always complete. Sometimes I will lead you into a season where everything becomes quiet, not because I've stopped working, but because I'm working in the deepest places. In the dark, the seed dies to begin life. In the silence, I am weaving every detail your eyes cannot yet see. I am the God of intricacies. I do nothing halfway. If what you've asked for hasn't come, it's not because I forgot. It's because I love. And I never give what is not yet made whole. You may be looking around and seeing others being elevated, celebrated, stepping into what they call calling. Meanwhile, you are still in the hidden place, doing small things, still waiting. But my beloved, I see you. I see your quiet faithfulness. I see how you keep praying even when you feel nothing. I see how you still choose forgiveness through the pain. Nothing done in love goes unnoticed. No act of obedience is meaningless. These small things are the very foundation for the great things I'm preparing, and when the time comes, I will call you forth. Not in struggle, but in strength. Not by force, but by the anointing that comes from me alone. I know you used to think I only dwell in the grand moments, miracles, wonders. But I am also present in the moment you wash dishes out of love for your family. In the moment you choose to step back so someone else can step forward. In every time you stay silent to preserve peace. That is where I dwell. That is when I touch you, not loudly, but deeply. Not with spectacle, but with power. And one day you will look back and realize it was in the season where you felt the smallest that I was doing the greatest work. It was in the moment you felt the weakest that I poured out the greatest strength. You will see that I never forgot, never was silent, never stopped loving. Every detail was interwoven. Every second was accounted for. Every stumble had meaning. And every step, though slow, was leading you to the place where my presence is not just around you, but within you forever. So don't look back anymore, my child. Don't mourn what I let go. Don't ask why the old path didn't continue. I am doing something new, right now, in you, through you, for you. Open your hands, open your heart, and let me, not the past, not fear, not old expectations, be the one who writes the next chapter. My beloved, you are not who you were at the start of this journey. Every ache, every struggle, every disappointment you've walked through, they were not in vain. They were never wasted. All of it is forming you not into a shattered version of yourself, but into a being rebuilt with a strength and light you've never known before. Do not despise yourself for the path you've taken. Do not feel shame for the seasons you were weak, broken, or lost. Because in those very moments I came closer than ever, whispering into your soul, keep going. I am still here. Now pause. Listen deeply, quietly. The trembling you feel is not the end. It is not the collapse you feared. It is the symphony of a heavenly shift. I am realigning the structure of your soul. I am moving bricks foundations you thought were fixed. There are things that have taken root too long in your life. Fear, doubt, dried up connections, lies you didn't even realize you believed. But my child, I will not let you carry them anymore. Because you are about to step into a new season, and this new season requires a lighter, cleaner, freer heart. You may not clearly see what I'm doing. Everything may still look like scattered pieces, but I am the one who fits them together perfectly. I'm breathing new life into parts of you that seem dried up. I am opening fresh streams from places you thought were barren. The unrest you feel is not misdirection, it is redirection. You may feel like you are losing so much, but truly I am clearing the ground to build something that has never existed before. What you call brokenness, I call release. I know you'll want to cling to the familiar. You'll want to hold on to what once made you feel safe. But my child, let go. Not because those things weren't important, but because you no longer belong to them. Where I am taking you surpasses everything that ever gave you temporary comfort. You may feel empty for a time, but this is not lack. It is the space needed for me to fill with something new. If you keep holding on to the old, you'll have no hands left to receive what I've prepared. Let me continue the work I've begun in you. You don't have to understand every step to trust me. Faith doesn't require full light. It only requires a heart willing to move even without seeing the way. And I promise you will walk through doors that once slammed shut in your face. Doors you once stood before and said, "That's not for me." Now those very doors will open not because you are strong enough, but because I have destined it from the beginning of time. You will step into places you once only dreamed of. You will sit at tables you once thought were beyond your reach, not to be exalted, but to be a light. You will speak words that carry life, not words rooted in fear, but words born from a healed heart. You will speak no longer from pain, but from restoration, and peace will clothe you, even when chaos surrounds. That peace will astonish others, and even you will ask, "How am I still standing in days like these?" I am restoring the years you thought were wasted. The seasons that seemed fruitless, the long days that felt empty, the prayers that felt like they vanished, I am gathering them all, using them as fertilizer for the harvest about to bloom. Every tear, every moment you chose forgiveness, every quiet act of faithfulness, they were seeds, and the harvest is coming. Not one to be fought for, but one you will enter with open arms, ready to receive what I have already prepared. The joy you thought had died, I am calling it back to life. I am drawing the curtain to reveal that life never left you. It was just buried beneath disappointment, weariness, and dreams delayed. But now I am breathing new wind into the flame you thought had gone out. It will not just flicker, it will blaze, illuminate, warm, and ignite others who feel extinguished just as you once did. What I do in you is not just for you. It is part of a greater plan to make you a living testimony that I still heal, still restore, still perform wonders. And you will see what I give back to you will not be what you lost. It will be better, more whole. Not because you deserve more, but because now you are more ready. You will no longer hold it with fear of losing. You will carry it as one who has known loss and who treasures the gift deeply. You will know how to hold it because once you had to let go. You will cherish it because once you were broken. Everything I place in your hands will stand as a witness to my faithfulness. And you will no longer live just to receive blessing, but to become one. So don't long for the old season. Don't try to gather what I've dismantled. Don't plead with me to restore what I have removed. You are no longer who you were at the beginning, and that is the miracle. The old no longer fits. It no longer reflects who you are becoming. And if I let it go, it's because what's coming is far more worthy. I am the one who saw the ending from the beginning. I am the author who writes not with ink, but with grace, blood, and breath of life. No line is meaningless. No chapter is off course. And the chapter you are living now, though painful, though silent, is being written by my own hand with a conclusion no one could imagine. Not a tragic ending, but a triumphant song. My beloved, do not give up. Do not define your life by this moment alone. Do not think my silence means I've stopped caring. For in the silence I am building something far greater than words can say. Keep walking, keep believing. Let me complete the miracle I began in you. And one day when you look back, you will smile and say, every pain was worth it. Every tear was not wasted. And every moment that felt like an end was where I truly began to live. My beloved child, if only you could catch a glimpse of what is stirring in the unseen realm because of the small faith you hold on to each day. If you could see the armies of heaven shift at the sound of a whispered prayer from your quiet place. If you could hear my heart thunder with joy at your quiet faithfulness, you would never again see yourself as small or insignificant. There are days, I know, when everything within you wants to give up. The voices around you and even within whisper, there's no hope. Nothing is changing. It's all in vain. But my child, I am the one who hears even the faintest whisper of your heart, and I say to you, do not let lies have the final word. Fear may scream in your mind, but it has no right to steer your life. Worry may weigh on your heart, but it must not dictate your steps. I have placed something within you that is stronger than your emotions, the seed of faith watered by my word, kept by my grace. Don't let your soul be led by chaos, let it be anchored in truth. When you don't understand, when you don't know, when you can't see, that is when faith shines brightest. Remember, I am not sitting back waiting for you to prove something before I love you. I loved you when you were messy, when you resisted me, when you couldn't believe in yourself. And that love, unchanging, unwavering, still covers you today. I don't need you to be better to come near me. I just need you to come. No armor, no masks, just your heart, even if it's broken, tired, or confused. For it's in your weakness that my power is made perfect. You think you need to understand everything, get it all right, carry it all correctly. But the truth is, you were never meant to carry what I already bore. I am the one who shoulders the burden so you can walk lighter. When you don't know what to do with your brokenness, don't patch it with logic, give it to me. I don't just mend, I restore. I don't just repair, I make new. And what I restore never returns to what it was, it bears the beauty of something sanctified. I did not call you to live for performance. You don't have to impress me, you just have to trust me. You don't need to earn. My approval for you have already been chosen, already been loved, already been sealed. All you need to do is remain in me. Remain not because you're always strong, but because you believe that I never change. Remain because even when others walk away, I remain. Remain to find rest not in achievements, but in my presence. Never forget, faith is not a feeling, it's a choice. And every time you choose to believe, even in the midst of doubt, that is a victory in the unseen battlefield. Faith is the shield against the enemy's flaming arrows, the barrier between you and the invisible darts of despair. When you walk by faith, you're walking the border between heaven and earth, pulling down the realities of the kingdom into the dust of this world. And every small act of obedience, you think, no one notices, I see it all. I remember it all. Do you think tearful prayers are weakness? No. My child, they are the soul's strongest weapons. When you keep praying, even when answers don't come, you're telling me, I believe you are more real than what I see. And that, to me, is more precious than the grandest ritual. Don't let the enemy deceive you into thinking your prayers don't matter. I am listening, and I am responding, not by your clock, but in the fullness of time I call good. I hear your praise even when your throat is dry and your heart feels hollow. Praise in the storm is the fiercest kind. It pierces through thick clouds of doubt. It pushes back the darkness creeping into your thoughts. It declares, even though I don't see, I choose to believe. And every time you worship like that, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifts. The ground shakes, chains break, invisible seeds are being sown, and harvest is drawing closer than you realize. What you are doing, obeying, trusting, worshiping, is not small. These are keys. They are unlocking doors your hands cannot open. They are reaching hearts your words cannot change. They are calling heaven to earth, ushering in miracles, not in the way you expected, but in a way that leaves no doubt. This is the hand of God. And when it happens, you won't be able to take the credit because you'll know it was never you. It was always me. So my child, don't give up. Even if your heart feels cold, keep drawing near. Even if your prayers feel meaningless, keep praying. Even if pain leaves you speechless, let your tears become worship. I am not seeking perfect performance. I seek a true heart. And when you bring me your real heart, I bring my real power. I know you're tired. I know you feel like you can't go on. But I also know you still have the courage to take one more breath, whisper one more prayer, lift one more trembling hand. And I will take that little offering and do what you could never imagine. I am the one who does exceedingly more than all you could ask or think. So don't draw back, don't fear, don't close your heart. Let me hold you not only in glory, but in brokenness. Let me do what I do best, turn ashes into beauty, tears into rain that waters faith, and what the enemy meant to destroy you, into a tool for eternal purpose. You are not alone, you are not forgotten. You don't have to become something great to be loved. You just need to be mine, surrendered to me. And everything else I will do. And I say to you, keep walking, keep praying, keep praising. For the harvest is coming, and it will exceed every small dream you ever dared to dream. My beloved, I know your heart is trembling. I know that as you hear these words, you may be in the midst of your own storm, a whirlwind that came without warning, without signs, with no mercy. A mighty wind blowing from places beyond your control. An unexpected message, a closed door, someone walking away, a dream taken before it was complete. And you've wondered, why? Why must I endure this? And now, my child, none of it is beyond my sight. When the ground disappeared beneath your feet, my arms were already stretched to catch you. When your heart cried out in pain, even the sob that never left your lips reached my ears. You may not see me, but I have never taken my eyes off you for even a moment. I am not absent in your tears. I am not silent in your suffering. I am here not always to stop the storm, but to use it as the raw material for something greater, a deeper faith, a stronger you, a closer bond between us. You thought peace was the absence of storms. But no true peace is when you stand in the eye of the storm with stillness in your soul because you know I am there. I never promised you would never be hurt, but I promise that nothing can destroy you while you are in my hands. I never said you would have all the answers, but I promised that even when you don't understand, I am leading you rightly. Maybe right now you don't see a way out. You don't see anything good coming from what is happening. But I say this to you in love, you haven't yet seen what I see. I am working behind the veil, arranging what seems broken into something whole. What you thought was random, I am weaving with precision. The pain you bear today may be the very tool I use to prepare you to lift others tomorrow. Don't run from the pain. Don't suppress it. Don't let it consume you. Bring it to me. Let me cradle your weary soul like a father holds his child. You don't need full understanding to be healed. You only need to let me in. I will not fail you. Beloved, when the unexpected strikes, when injustice pierces you, when helplessness surrounds you, let your faith not break, but root deeper. Let it dig into the truth that I am still who I say I am, and you are still my cherished one. Let your heart stand not on shifting feelings, but on unchanging truth. I do not change. My love is unshaken. My plans are not thrown off by surprise, for nothing surprises me. You will not be crushed. Though you feel fragile, I am holding your soul in my steady hands. Though everything in you feels like it's breaking, I am lifting, mending, rebuilding. I'm not restoring you to who you were. I'm renewing you, stronger, deeper, more radiant with my power. You will not be the same, and that is not frightening. That is blessing. I know you're tired. I know you're looking for a sign. This is that sign. My words coming to you today are proof that I still see you, still speak to you, still touch you. Even in this dry land, you are not left behind. You are not overlooked. You have not been disqualified. On the contrary, you are in the very center of what I am doing, not because you're strong, but because I am strong for you. Not because you are worthy, but because I have chosen to love you always. So keep believing, my child, even when your eyes blur with tears, even when your prayers seem to echo into emptiness, even when your feelings contradict your former faith. Let your faith rise above emotion. Let it hold fast to me, for I have never let go of you. And one day you will look back at this very moment and know this was the time I lifted you with my mightiest love. Not with instant miracles, but with enduring presence. You'll see the place where you once shattered is the very ground where I laid a new foundation. And you'll walk, not trembling at the unexpected, but steady in the confidence that I, your God, remain faithful. And you, my little one, will never be left behind in the storm. My beloved child, faith does not blossom on gentle, sunny days. It is not born on roads strewn with roses. It does not grow out of convenience, nor is it nurtured by sweet-sounding praises. Faith is forged in the darkness, where the way out is no longer clear, where prayers seem to echo with no reply. It is there in the collapse of certainty, where your heart finds no place to lean, where reason gives way to trust. It is there that the seed of faith breaks its shell and rises. I know you do not want to hear this. I know you long for a smoother road, a journey with fewer demands, a life that doesn't require staking everything just to hold on to belief. But my dear one, I did not create you for ease, I created you for meaning. And the deepest, most enduring meanings do not come from explanations, but from presence. From your decision to keep walking even when you cannot see the road. From your choice to keep praying when your heart is broken. From your whisper, I trust you amid all that defies understanding. I do not love you less on the days you doubt. I do not withdraw when your faith trembles. I do not love you because you believe in me perfectly. I love you, and from that love I train your faith by giving you opportunities to choose me, trust me, and stay with me, even when there is nothing else left to cling to. Sometimes you don't need an answer. You just need to know I am still here, and I am not one step away. When bad news pierces your heart like a blade, when you sit by the diagnosis table with bewildered eyes, when you hold the hand of a loved one drawing their final breath, when the one you trusted turns away without a glance, know that I have not changed. When you tremble from loss, I still hold you in my hands. When everything seems to fall apart, I remain steadfast. I have not moved from my place as your stronghold. I have not ceased to be your refuge. I do not slumber, I do not grow careless, I do not abandon, and even when everything within you whispers God is silent, my presence still covers you like the shade at noonday. Do not define my love by what you are enduring. True love does not avoid suffering but stays through it. I stay. I do not turn away when you are hurting. I do not withdraw kindness when you stumble. I do not cancel my promises when you doubt. You do not need to prove anything to be worthy of me. Grace is not a reward for perfection. It is a gift for the weak who know they need me, and you do, and I am giving. You are not finished. I declare that not with a gentle voice, but with thunder echoing through your soul. You are not finished. What you see as ashes, I see as fertile ground for something new to emerge. What you call failure, I call a turning point. What you perceive as a dead end, I am quietly making a way through stone, and you will not remain in this place. Not because you are strong enough to climb out, but because I am faithful enough to lift you up. I will draw you out of the pit of despair, not by your hand, but by my almighty arm. When you have no words left to pray, even your breath is a prayer I hear. When you have no more tears to cry, the groaning of your heart is a declaration before me. No pain in you is hidden from my sight. No moment is too small for me to understand. I know every tremor in your soul, the parts you tell no one. I know even what you dare not admit to yourself, and I embrace it all. Do not let this pain steal your identity. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not off course from the plan I have written. The only thing you may lose, perhaps, are false expectations. Things no longer aligned with the true vision I am redrawing for you. But even that is freedom. I am making all things new, not by replicating what you once had, but by placing in your hands something better, deeper, eternal. I know you do not want to suffer, but if you let me walk through the pain with you, it will not be a dead end. It will be a path. I will use it. I will make it serve a good purpose. And when you pass through, you will look back and see I was never far. I cradled you in trouble. I lifted you through seasons you thought you would not survive. And when you rise into the light, you will not just be a survivor, you will be a witness, a testimony to unfailing love, unending grace, unchanging faithfulness. Take my hand even if your hands are trembling. Open your heart even if it's filled with doubt. Offer me your anger, your disappointment, your broken pieces. I can handle them all, and I do not turn any of it away. Do not be ashamed of your weakness before me. Do not think you must be strong to be near me. It is in weakness that my power is made perfect. It is in lack that my grace becomes complete. You do not need to see the whole path to believe it is real. You do not need to understand the entire plan to take the next step. You only need to know that I, the one who began, am still holding every unfinished part, and I will complete it. Not because you never doubted, but because I never changed. My beloved child, when you find yourself swept into an unexpected turn, when all your plans collapse and you stand still at a nameless intersection, I want you to know I was already there before you knew you would need me. No detour confuses me. No dead end is beyond my providence. Before the pain took form, I prepared the healing. Before the loss arrived, I preserved the restoration. Before your confusion, I wrote the purpose. You are not walking into uncharted territory alone. I have been there among what seemed random in days that felt meaningless, and I am still there waiting not to accuse you but to lead you through. I see your tangled heart, your weary soul from trying to be strong for too long. You fear that if you fall, no one will catch you. You worry that if you let the tears fall, everything will shatter beyond repair. But child, I do not despise your tears. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of a heart that feels a heart I, myself, placed within you. I do not demand that you be tough in all things. I invite you to place your emotions under the shelter of faith. I permit you to grieve, but not in despair. I permit you to weep, but not without hope. I listen to your laments not to be silent, but to reach the depths. I am the one who takes ashes and breathes beauty. I do not just dry your tears, I make them into springs. I do not merely soothe sorrow, I turn it into song. The oil of joy doesn't simply replace the heavy soul, it soaks, it softens, it revives what seemed dead. Not one of your tears falls without my keeping. Not one moment of confusion escapes my knowing. Every stirring of your soul is engraved before my throne of grace. You think you are weak, but truly you are becoming real, and in truth I move most powerfully. There are times you ask yourself, how will I recover? What must I do to overcome? How can I stand again? And I want you to know the answer does not lie in your inner strength. You don't have to hold it all together. Rescue does not come from your effort to keep life from falling apart. Rescue comes from letting me hold you just as you are. No masks, no performance, no need to please anyone. Just a humble heart, a genuine sigh, a simple prayer, Lord, I need you. And in that very moment I hold you. I do not ask you to explain why you doubted. I do not demand an apology for your anger. I do not flinch at your unanswered questions. I do not walk away when you cry out in pain. I do not withdraw love because you do not understand me. On the contrary, I sit beside you. I walk with you through the darkness. I do not stand on the other side of the valley calling you to cross alone. I come down to the depths to walk with you, to carry you when your legs have no strength to whisper in your ear. We are not stopping here. I will bring you out. I know there are nights you cannot sleep because of questions without answers. Days when you are silent in a crowd because of pain no one understands. But I understand. I need no one to explain you to me. I have seen you when no one else saw. I have listened even when you could not speak. And every one of those emotions, no matter how dark, how bitter, has never pushed me away. You may think I've left because you're no longer strong like before. But child, it is precisely in your breaking that I draw closest. You don't have to pretend to be okay for me to love you. You only need to be honest. If you are in pain, tell me. If you are angry, say so. If you can't believe anymore, confess it. For I am not shocked. I am not wounded by your doubts. On the contrary, I am moved with compassion. I embrace you, I remain. When everyone else needs you to be good enough to stay, I am the only one who stays, even when you have nothing left to offer. Because my love for you is not built on what you do, but on who I am. You don't need to understand everything to trust me. Just trust me enough not to turn away. Just stay. Just keep calling my name, even in broken whispers. That is faith. Not glamorous faith, but real faith, forged through tears, through silence, through unseen endurance. And I see it. I have seen it all. Do not be ashamed of your weakness. Do not hide when you need help. It is in that truth that I will act. It is in that surrender that I will lift you up. Do not fear the breaking, for I am a master at mending with gold. Your life is not a failed draft. It is a tapestry in progress, and I am the artisan who never abandons my creation. The stitches that sting are forming a picture that one day even you will proclaim, only God could have done this. My beloved, I never promised you there would be no storms, but I did promise that no storm would drive me away from you. I never promised you'd always feel strong, but I did promise that in your weakest days I would be your strength. I never promised you would understand everything, but I did promise you would never walk alone. And now, in the middle of the unknown, in the midst of unnamed, bends through the tears not yet dried, I am holding your hand, and I am whispering into your heart, I will not leave you, not now, not ever. My beloved child, I know your soul is weary as you look back on all that seems unfinished. The dreams you poured your heart into that now feel meaningless. I see you sitting there among the ruins of expectations with empty hands and sorrowful eyes. You call it a delay, an interruption, a failure. But let me show you a reality greater than your present emotion. I never act without purpose. I am the one who misses no detail, and there is not a single break in your life that isn't part of my deliberate design. You may not see it now, but imagine an artist weaving a grand tapestry. From the underside, everything looks tangled, frayed threads, messy colors, no pattern, no shape. But from my side, the front side, every thread, even the ones that seem out of place, is perfectly interwoven to create a picture beyond compare. The interruptions you see as chaos, I see as design. The losses you call pointless, I am using as the foundation for something eternal. I see your tears when a door closes. I hear your whisper of disappointment when things don't go the way you planned. But child, what you think is a full stop is often the semicolon I place to move you into a new chapter, one you've never dared to write. I do not tear down what you built just to hurt you. I dismantle to rescue you from what was never meant to last. Maybe you built with misplaced trust, rushed desires, fragile feelings, and I love you too much to let you live forever in the incomplete. I have seen you ask me to bless something simply because it felt familiar, because it made you feel safe. But if I answered that prayer exactly as you asked, you would trap yourself in a barren place, never tasting the abundance I long to give you. You asked me to touch the dream, and I let the dream fall apart. Not because I refused you, but because I'm rewriting it in heavenly terms, not limited by your ability, not constrained by others' expectations, not bound by time or circumstance. So if everything is shaking, know that I am not standing still. When the ground beneath you starts to crack, it's not because you're losing your footing, it's because I am shifting the foundation, uprooting the old to prepare for the new. The shaking is not abandonment. It is a sign that I am near, that a new work is being unveiled, and you are invited not to cling to the rubble, but to lift your eyes and follow my leading. Do not think discomfort is your enemy. Sometimes I use unrest to awaken your soul, to stir the question, am I missing something deeper? And in that moment I enter in. I do not enter with applause or smoothness. I come in the silence of a fading dusk, in the sigh of a soul searching for meaning. And I am there not to condemn, but to offer hope. Not to recall your pain, but to heal it at its root. I know you once thought you lost everything, but my child, loss is not the final word. In my hands, every loss can become the space where newness is born. You may feel shattered, but in that very breaking, I am planting a seed, not of the old, but of something never seen before. Something good, something whole, something unshakable. No one can take it from you, because I have sown it with my own tears, with unchanging love, with unrelenting power. I do not need perfect conditions to perform miracles. I do not need everyone to support you to fulfill my promises. I only need you to still hold on to me, even if by a final breath, a trembling whisper, a single flicker of light in your eyes. I am not bound by time. I am not pushed back by your past mistakes. I am the one who revives what is dead, who breathes life into buried dreams, who turns ashes into crowns of glory. You will not understand it all, and you don't have to. But come closer. Let me hold you near so you can feel the steady rhythm of my heart that never changes. I am not the one who creates chaos. I am the one who takes even the most chaotic parts and makes them beautiful. I can straighten the twisted path, gather each broken fragment of your story, and craft from them a portrait of eternal light. You once thought I had forgotten you, but you have never left my sight. I've been watching every step you take, hearing every word you whisper in silence. I have kept your tears, not one has been wasted. I have touched every wound, not one has gone unnoticed. And now, if you are willing to surrender it all, even the parts you don't understand, haven't forgiven, haven't healed, I will begin to rebuild. Not on the old foundation, but upon my eternal promise. This is not the end. This is a sacred moment where I am redirecting you. What you thought was a conclusion is about to become an unstoppable beginning. Let me continue the writing. Let me reshape everything. Let me turn what you fear the most into the greatest evidence of my love, my power, and my grace. My beloved one, There are moments in life that bring you to your knees when it feels like everything you once relied on has collapsed beneath your feet. Your heart is in turmoil, your mind is screaming, but your mouth cannot utter a word. You search for me in panic, hoping for an instant miracle. And when nothing seems to change, you begin to wonder, have you left me? But child, what you're going through is not proof of my absence. It's a reminder that you need me more than ever. The shaking you're experiencing does not mean I've turned away. It's meant to awaken your heart, to call you back to where you were created, to live a place of total dependence on me, not a place of control, but of surrender. Not where you hold authority, but where I hold you. I never promised you'd never feel pain, but I did promise to be present in every moment of it. I did not assure you the road would be smooth, but I did assure you that I would never let you walk it alone. When you are weak, I am your strength. When your heart is shattered, I am the one who pieces it back together. When your tears fall, I am the one who wipes them away with my own hands. Not a single tear hits the ground without being treasured by me like a precious pearl. And child, do not let your pain become a silence that hardens into bitterness. Bring it to me. I do not shy away from unhealed wounds. I do not turn my back on cries of anguish. I invite you, yes, even when you're angry, even when you're questioning, even when you're silent, because you no longer have the strength to pray. Let that pain soften you. Let it open up the hidden corners of your soul, not to destroy you, but to transform you. Not to break you down, but to make room for me to enter more deeply. The more you allow yourself to be undone before me, the more I can shape you into something better. Your surrender is not failure, it is an act of faith. In this world they teach you that strength is standing tall. But in my kingdom true power flows when you bow low. When you stop demanding answers and instead trust my heart, that's when peace rushes in. A peace that surpasses understanding. A peace not built on circumstances, but on the one who holds them all. Remember, you are not fighting alone. Do not let the silence of the world make you think you've been abandoned. This is not a surrender into despair, this is warfare in faith. And this battle, it is not yours, it is mine. Every time you praise me in pain, you are tearing down strongholds of hopelessness. Every time you worship through tears, the foundations of spiritual prisons begin to shake. This is not weakness. This is not small. This is courage when you choose to keep walking even though you cannot see the road. This is bravery when you choose to trust me without guarantees. I go before you, I guard behind you, and I surround you on every side. When you think you've lost everything, I am still here. And if you still have me, then you still have everything you need. I am not the backup plan. I am the inheritance that no one can steal. I am the reward no one can snatch. When you place your trust in me, you'll realize the most precious thing is not what you possess, but who holds you moment by moment. And when what you call loss arrives, I am the one who restores. I don't just return what was taken, I return it fuller, richer, more complete. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. I will return what seemed lost forever. Some doors you thought were closed, I will reopen. Some dreams you folded away, I will breathe life into them again. Some parts of your life you've hidden in shame, I will use them to reveal my glory. Nothing is too late when it's in my hands. So child, do not let go. Do not retreat. Do not let fear drown out your faith. You are not walking alone. I am here, not far off, but near. Not passive, but actively working for you. Not distant, but walking beside you with every breath, every step. And when you have nothing left to offer but broken pieces, know this. It is right there at the end of yourself that I begin building something new, something better, something eternal. My beloved, I see you in the long nights when you have no strength to speak, when you no longer know how to pray. I see you pressing forward while your heart is heavy with unanswered questions. I do not turn away from the doubts in your heart. I am not ashamed of your temporary weakness, because I know behind all that you're facing is a soul learning to cling to me, not through feelings but by a deliberate decision, and that my child moves all of heaven. But I tell you this, I will not merely return what you have lost. I am not only the God who restores, I am the God who gives beyond restoration. The things you thought were broken forever, I will not simply repair them. I will transform them into something better. I will not restore to former state, I will make all things new, more beautiful, deeper, stronger. On your journey, every loss, every break, every sorrow will become material for me to forge a soul matured in faith and ablaze in grace. I will give you wisdom, not the kind drawn from books, but from the scars of life, from the moments you chose to love when you had every right to hate. I will place within you compassion, so you no longer see others through lenses of judgment, but with eyes that know their own frailty. I will nurture within you a soul that is no longer tossed by waves of emotion, but anchored in truth. I will give you authority not from position, but from victories won in the secret place. And then you will become a witness, a living testimony that says, only God could have done this. Those who saw you fall will marvel when they see you standing firm. Those who thought you'd never rise again won't be able to deny the life now flowing from the very place that once lay in ruins. They won't explain it with logic, nor name it with reason. All they'll be able to say is, this is a miracle. This is the hand of God. So do not hide your scars. They do not disfigure your story. They make it priceless. Every scar tells a story without words. A reminder I was there, that you survived, that what meant to destroy you failed. And not only were you not defeated, you were lifted, shaped, and strengthened by what you once thought would bury you. The scar is a sign of victory, not because you were strong, but because I never let you go. The enemy whispered in your ear, this will crush you. He said you would never rise, that this was the end. But he forgot one thing. I am using this very circumstance to rebuild your faith. He wants you to doubt me. I am using the silence to teach you to trust me deeper. He wants you to turn away. I am holding your hand and pulling you closer than ever before. He wants to label you a victim. I am calling you a victor. Not because you didn't hurt, but because in that very hurt, you found purpose. You do not need to deny your emotions. I am not asking you to pretend you're fine. I do not need you to smile when your heart is breaking. But I want you to know your tears are not wasted. Not one drop hits the ground unnoticed. And one day those very tears will water the fields of blessing you are about to reap. You will not always cry like this. You will not always feel this fragile, because healing is coming. It's drawing near like dawn breaking after a storm-filled night, and not just healing joy is coming. Not a fleeting joy here one moment and gone the next, but a deep abiding joy born not from circumstance but from presence. This joy doesn't come from having everything you want. It comes from having me and I am enough. Restoration is coming. But before it arrives, know this, I am with you right now in the waiting. I do not wait until you're healed to love you. I do not wait until you're smiling again to be by your side. I do not withdraw my love while you wrestle with doubt. In this very season, in the in-between, between brokenness and restoration, between wounds and healing, I am present in the strongest way. And do you know something? In this waiting, your faith is so precious to me. When you worship with a trembling voice, heaven falls silent to listen. When you choose to trust me, despite all evidence to the contrary, every step resounds like thunder in the spiritual realm. When you rise day after day, even without strength, you are walking in a faith I treasure more than pure gold. Your faith refined not on stages but in silent rooms, not among applause but among sighs, not by knowledge but through surrender. That kind of faith terrifies hell because it cannot be taken. It was forged in the very place the enemy thought would bury you. And one day when you look back, you'll see none of it came to destroy you. It came to prepare you. You'll see those once heavy steps become steps that lead others forward. Your cries of despair will become songs of encouragement to someone in the dark. You will understand why I didn't still the storm, but instead taught you how to stand firm through it. You will not be defined by what happened to you. You will be defined by how I redeemed every bit of it and made something radiant from the ashes. And every time someone looks at your life, you won't need to explain in detail. You'll simply live, and your life will declare it loud and clear, God did this. My beloved child, I know there are days when you carry peace within yet feel alone because no one around you seems to understand it. They look at you and assume you're avoiding reality, that you're indifferent to pain, that you're too strong to be sincere. But my dear one, the peace you carry is not something easily explained. It doesn't come from having figured everything out. It's not born from restoration, nor does it mean you're no longer hurting. That peace is not of this world because it did not come from this world. It came from me. It is my presence in the innermost places of your soul. You do not need to justify that peace. You don't have to convince anyone that you are truly okay. Your steadiness in the storm is evidence of the one who dwells within you, and that is what makes it powerful. That is what makes it my signature, because my peace does not depend on you seeing what lies ahead. It does not come when every question is answered. It comes when you realize, I am nearer than the answers, nearer than the solution, nearer even than the pain you cannot name, nearer than your next heartbeat. You do not need to seek peace in things that can change. I do not want your heart to anchor itself in the fragile people achievements or smooth pathways. These things will waver, and when they shake, so will you. But if you place your trust in me, the one who does not change, the one who is close in every season, you will stand firm, even when everything else seems to fall apart, and your peace will not merely be a feeling. It will be a foundation. It will be your footing. It will be the place you lean when every other place feels too small to hold your soul. So do not harden your heart when things don't turn out as you hoped. Do not let bitterness take root when prayers are not answered immediately. Do not let the silence convince you I've turned away. Do not let the shock pull you from the only refuge where you can truly rest. Let the pain lead you to me, not drive you away. Let it draw you into my embrace, not to collapse in despair, but to surrender in hope. You don't need to understand the reason. You only need to keep your heart soft, soft enough to hear, soft enough to trust, soft enough to be healed. You once believed strength meant never crying, never wavering. But I say this to you, true strength is when you choose to run to me in tears, when you choose not to shut me out in your doubt, when you allow me to soothe your soul amid the scream of unanswered questions. That is faith, not a roaring flame, but a glowing ember still burning in the winds howling. And I never extinguish that ember. I breathe life into it. I nurture it. I cause it to blaze again. If the shaking reveals what you'd rather not see, let it teach you humility. If the loss makes you question your worth, let it teach you complete dependence on me. If you feel yourself unraveling, let that show you that at the end of yourself I begin. Nothing is exposed that I do not desire to heal. Nothing is dismantled that I do not intend to replace with something better. No one leaves without my intent to draw you into deeper fellowship first with me. Let this season be the moment you relearn what truly matters. When the noise fades, you'll hear my voice more clearly. When the old paths are blocked, you'll see I am making a way in the wilderness. I do not need you to force strength. I simply need you to open your heart. That is where my power flows, in the weakness you dare to admit, in the sighs you no longer hide, in the surrender that holds no conditions. And my child, do not think this is the end. Don't assume that because you feel empty now, the next chapter has been closed. This moment soaked in tears, weighted in weariness, is not the final page. I am still writing. My pen has not paused. The paper is not dry. The ink is not finished, and that ink is redemption. Not the ink men use to revise mistakes, but heavenly ink, eternal, unfading, laced with grace and restoration. The next chapter of your life will not be marked by what was taken from you, not by those who left doors that closed or dreams that fell apart. It will be marked by my hand, the hand that redeems, restores, and renews. What you thought was the end will become the foundation for what I am beginning. And you will realize peace is not the final reward. Peace is the companion, the gift I already gave, the sign that I am still here, every step, every page, every breath. I am leading you into a new place, not just outwardly but inwardly, a deeper place within my heart. A place where you will know, though all else changes, my God does not. And that is what you truly need. Not answers to every question, but the unchanging presence of the one who loves you more than you can comprehend. My beloved child, quiet your heart and listen. I will restore your soul not in loud or hurried ways, but in deep, gentle, and complete ones. Every crack in your soul I have seen. Every pain you thought no one noticed I have touched. There is no part of you too dark for me to enter, and no pain too tangled for me to heal. I do not come just to offer temporary comfort. I come to renew every part of you from root to branch, from weary soul to restless mind. You thought you were too weak, but in your exhaustion I see the beginning of renewal. I will heal your heart not with hollow promises, but with my very presence. I do not cover pain, I touch it. I do not ignore deep wounds. I step into them with the light of truth. Every place in you that's been closed off by fear or disappointment, I am knocking, not to judge but to restore. I will not force you to forgive, but I will give you the strength to let go. I will not scold you for once resenting me, but I will invite you to hope again. I have not come to soothe for a moment, I have come to heal forever. I will renew your mind, the place torn between anxiety and hope, between fear and trust. The lies you've believed about yourself, your worth, your future, I will untangle them one by one and replace them with my truth. You are not worthless, you are not too late, you are not abandoned. You are my beloved creation, chosen, called, protected, and held. Every thought that weighed on you like a heavy fog, I am blowing it away so you can see yourself again through the eyes of my love and begin to live not by fear, but by the purpose I have placed within you. I will give you beauty instead of ashes, not the kind of beauty that draws admiration, but the beauty that rises from within, from the places you once believed were beyond repair. You don't need to hide the parts that have broken. You don't need to cover the chapters you find shameful. I will use them to reflect my grace. What once made you hang your head in shame will become the place where you lift your eyes in gratitude. And others will see in you a light the world cannot comprehend, because that light was born from a true encounter with me in the darkness. I will give you strength instead of weakness, not the strength to pretend, but the strength to stand when you have nothing left to hold on to. Strength to say, I believe even when nothing changes. Strength to take another step though your heart still trembles. Strength to love again after being wounded. Not strength from control, but from surrender, surrender to me, the one who holds all things together. I will be your strength when you have none. I will be your breath when you feel you cannot breathe. I will be your refuge when everything else falls apart. I will give you praise instead of mourning, because sorrow will not last forever. One day when you look back, the song on your lips will no longer be a groan, but a melody of gratitude. I will exchange bitterness for sweetness, complaints for thanksgiving, not because you deny the pain, but because you've seen the purpose behind it. I will not ask you to sing in pretense, but when the song rises from the deep places, it will be a symphony from a heart that has truly been healed. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even when you feel abandoned, feeling is not the final truth. I have always been there, even in your loneliest moment. When you turned away, I did not leave. When you were silent in pain, I waited patiently. When you were filled with doubt, I did not withdraw. My love is not like the world's love. It doesn't change with time or behavior. It isn't threatened by unstable emotion. It doesn't retreat when rejected. My love is steadfast, unwavering, eternal. It stays, it holds, it lifts, and it heals. My child, I am not done. Even when everything in you says this is the end, I say this is the beginning of something new. Do not believe that you are ruined, too late, or a failure. With me, it is never too late to begin again. Never too late to be healed. Never too late to live fully as I intended. So walk with me. Even if your steps are slow, even if your faith trembles, I will not abandon you on the journey. I will not rush your healing. I will not hurry your heart. I will walk with you day by day, hour by hour, breath by breath. I will not shame you for your journey. I will not compare you to anyone. I know every soul has its rhythm, and I honor that. I will be patient with your pain, and I will be unyielding in. My love for that love will never let you go. Not when you are angry, not when you've lost faith, not when you feel unworthy. I will still be there holding you, waiting for you, calling you home. And one day when you look back, everything will be made clear. You will see how every seemingly chaotic step fit perfectly into my plan. You will know that not a single tear was wasted. They watered a seed, and now that seed has bloomed. You will see I never wasted a moment. And in the light of that truth, you will bow your head not in shame, but in gratitude. Not because of the pain, but because of the purpose I drew from it. You will say, Lord, now I understand. Nothing is meaningless in your hands. Even the most painful things were turned into something precious. And I will smile, hold you close, and say I knew you would see it because I never stopped loving you. My beloved child, when all within you trembles like a candle in the wind, when every heartbeat still tolls the chimes of unnamed sorrow, I reach you not with a stern command but with gentle love. I invite you to rise not because I demand resilience of you, but so you may know that even in your weakest hour, there is a strength ready to rest upon your shoulders and hold you steady. Allow yourself to stand not with the toughness others expect, not with a show of endurance to please anyone, but with one small decision to no longer lie beneath the shadows, to no longer let fear dictate every breath. That first step, however unsteady or trembling, is the marker of a new journey, for there is a hand that never leaves, guiding you step by step like a mother lifting her child after a fall. And when your weary eyes strain forward and see no path, do not burden yourself with understanding all things. Rest instead in the deep assurance that there is one who knows it all, who has measured the weight of loneliness, the heaviness of your worries, and each tear that has fallen. This knowledge does not erase your questions. It embraces them, turning them into doors of intimacy between you and the source of love. In every fragile moment you are allowed to sigh, to weep, even to collapse in silence, for through those sighs I hear your pain and I answer with grace. Do not deny your feelings. Do not flee from the bleeding places of your heart. Name them, face them, and bring them before me, for they are not yours to carry alone. When you lay before me your fears, your sorrows, your anger, I do not turn away. I take them into the hands of grace, and what seemed shattered is gathered and woven into a new tapestry, not to hide the scars, but to let them tell the story of how you were healed. To be yourself amid the cracks is no shallow goal. It is an art that takes time. Each day, each small choice, you learn to love yourself by granting rest, by accepting help, by refusing to force yourself into roles the world demands. Remember, faith is not a miracle that erases hardship in an instant, but a vessel steady in the storm because it is anchored to what does not move. When you rise, it is not that fear has vanished, but that you have chosen to walk a path lit by unshakable hope, a hope that does not deny reality but reveals the way through it. There will be days you fall back, moments of confusion, nights when you think you cannot go on. And in those very times, I will be the small, persistent whisper in your heart, keep going, just one more step. One step may be as simple as waking earlier, saying I'm sorry, asking a trusted friend to walk with you, declining a harmful tie, or holding back a hasty word of criticism. Such steps may be small, but within them is the power to reshape your life. I comfort you so that you will not be ashamed of your fragility. Fragility is not to be hidden, but is the doorway to true closeness. When you allow yourself to be seen, imagine how those watching will behold something more real, a human who can love, who can hurt, who can heal, rather than a cold monument of stone. Through this truth, you will build relationships with yourself and with others on sincerity, not performance. And that is the freedom you have been searching for, not freedom from trial, but freedom to live truthfully within it. Never forget, every wound etched upon your flesh has carried both lesson and mercy. It has taught you to see others with softer eyes, for those who have been wounded more easily recognize the pain of another. Let your dark days become a wellspring of compassion. Let the memory of being lifted become the hand you extend to another when they fall. When you transform experience into compassion, pain ceases to be a solitary burden and becomes a channel of redemption for others. This is how I shape you, not to make you flawless, but to make you fruitful for a broken world. A heart that loves is greater than a heart that is perfect. The path of restoration will at times demand release of the things that once made you feel safe through dependence habits, harmful ties, illusions of self. Letting go is not failure. It is the courageous admission that some things no longer belong to the road being formed within you. And as you let go, I will walk beside you, not to leave you adrift in confusion, but to guide you through the storm with gentleness. At times, release means cutting away what blocks the flow of love. At times, it means realizing you are not the center of every story and making space for something greater than yourself to take its place. In all these moments, I do not condemn but uphold. I do not act in your place, but give you strength to act. Let faith be the cloak that shelters your heart, not eliminating sorrow, but keeping sorrow from defining you. When you learn to see life through the eyes of mercy, you will discern what to wait for, what to accept, and what to change with courage. I teach you patience not as a cliché, but as a way of being patient with yourself, with growth, with others. For the seed of maturity needs time to root and grow. It does not sprout by command, but by the steady rhythms of soil, water, and season. Child, do not fear the seasons of silence within your soul. Silence is not emptiness, but the space where I rearrange, where my word seeps into every crevice, warming what was cold. In such silence you will hear unexpected comforts feel fresh, desires to love and serve, see old values fall and new ones rise. It is a quiet yet certain process demanding both time and trust. And one day in the gentle dawn of inner resurrection you will stand, not because you never fell, but because I stood with you each time you did. You will look back without bitterness, but with gratitude, for every fall taught you what was needed for the steps ahead. Then you will see you were not only saved from loneliness, but transformed, not into a flawless image, but into a soul that can love deeply, endure faithfully, and bring hope to others. This is my promise, not to remove all suffering, but to grant companionship, strength, and new life to carry you through. So now, beloved child, allow yourself to rise. Step into the new day with a heart ready to give and to receive. Do not wait until you feel whole before walking, for it is in the walking that you are made whole. Let each step be a simple but faithful response to the love I have for you, not loud, only true. And when your legs grow weary and your soul trembles, remember there is a hand that is held and will hold. There is a whisper that will never cease to call you back to peace. You do not need to carry the burden alone. Lay it down, entrust it to me, and rise again, for this is your calling to step beyond fear, to cross from desert to green fields, from night to dawn, from loneliness to overflowing communion. Go forward with a faith small but steadfast, for I walk with you, I lift you when you fall, and I love you, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Lift up your eyes, beloved child, but not to hide your pain beneath a cloak you wrap around yourself for warmth. Lift them up to see one who always stands there, not glittering in the way the world applauds, not parading as earthly glory, but present with the quiet steadfastness of mountains, like a spring that never runs dry. What you are called to see is not a cheap comfort, but a presence, unshaken by circumstance, a nature unchanging on which you may lean even when the whole world shakes. When your eyes are blurred with tears, when your mind reels with questions, lift them upward, not to find proofs in the shifting flow of reason, but to sense in the deep places of the soul. There is a goodness that does not depend on things, working out a love not eroded by disappointment or confusion. It is in the very moments when everything shatters around you, when your plans scatter like leaves in the wind, that this unprovable reality shines. Most clearly, not like a flickering lamp of the world, but like an enduring inner light guiding your weary steps. Do not misunderstand. To call you to look up is not to deny the wound. I know every scar, every twist of your inner being, every unspoken word that turned into a stone pressing down on your heart. But I long for you to look through to a deeper layer, one where meaning is not bound to temporary outcomes. There will be days so dark you cannot see a way out, nights when you cry, "Who has abandoned me?" moments when you even doubt the existence of love. To lift your gaze, then, is to choose belief beyond the tremors of passing emotion, that there is a great heart embracing every imperfection, a wisdom steady through all confusion, a gentle hand holding all the broken fragments. Faith here is not an empty thought, but a decision to trust a reality the mind cannot always grasp, but the heart still knows. And when you lift your head, you will find that this goodness is not easy. It does not cover sadness with a soft cloth to make it vanish. Instead, it walks with you through the fire, sharing your sighs, feeling your cold and heat. It stays by your side and whispers in the night, "I will not leave you." And that quiet but unshaken word becomes the strength for your next step. It gives you courage to face fear, to ask for help, to accept that not all healing depends on you alone. You are allowed to be weak, to lean on others. That is not shame but wisdom. To admit your need is a great maturity. To look up is also to claim hope against doubt. When you turn your eyes toward the Eternal One, you are telling yourself that not all sorrow is final, that there is a hand at work and you are not abandoned to randomness. The parts of reality your mind cannot yet understand will slowly come into light, not as an explosion but like dawn rising little by little. Patience then is needed with the way the Source works, sometimes by silently rearranging your story, sometimes by clearing away what blocks your sight. Each upward glance is like a new breath, breathing in trust, breathing out sorrow, and in that exchange, transformation happens not by spectacle but by the quiet constancy of patient love. Let your gaze be serene yet firm. To lift your eyes without fleeing the truth is an act of great courage, the courage of inner honesty. Facing pain is not suffering in silence, but naming it, shining light upon it, so that healing can begin. And when you do this under the shelter of the unchanging One, you are no longer a wanderer lost in mist. You become one who knows the way, held by a hand that never wavers. Along this journey, you will learn to see beyond appearances, to weigh the world not by glamour but by the scales of mercy and truth. Perhaps you will ask, if He is good, why is there suffering? This question echoes across generations and never finds a full answer. Yet, my dear one, do not let that mystery paralyze your faith. Let it instead draw you into relationship where answers are not just in reasoning, but in presence that acknowledges pain and walks with you through it. The goodness I speak of does not erase suffering but transforms it into space for grace to touch. It does not wipe away wounds but promises to journey with you through them, making them springs of compassion and seeds of hope. And lifting your head is never only for yourself. As you discover the hand that holds you, you are invited to share that warmth. Having known the maze of loneliness and the rescue of being found, you will be able to extend your hand to others still wandering. True encounter softens you, not to shut doors but to open them wide. From this, your life begins to turn outward, from seeking comfort only for yourself to living for the healing of others. And in this giving you find more deeply the very goodness you have lifted your eyes to see. Do not let temporary disappointments cloud your vision. There will be days you are struck down by harsh words, by irretrievable loss, by circumstances that crush. In those moments, to lift your eyes is to place your pain under the gaze of love unchanging. When your wounds are received, understood, and wrapped in hope, they lose their power to unravel you. Even the darkest season becomes a teacher, shaping wisdom and mercy within you. Be steadfast, for the bridge from night to dawn is built stone, by whispered prayer, by small acts of kindness, by the choice not to give up. Each time you lift your eyes to the source of love, you set another stone in place. Perhaps today you can only manage a fragile step, tomorrow perhaps stronger. Yet each step is of infinite worth in the work of restoration. And when you look back, you will see your journey not as wasted but as a symphony of grace, where the low notes of suffering blend with the high notes of joy and together form a living song. Finally, receive this invitation as a call to depth. Lift up your eyes to see, one unbound by what is passing to behold, a love unshaken by circumstance, a hand always ready to hold. This is the true safety you can lean on when all else trembles. This is the inner light that does not erase feeling, but redirects it toward healing. Let your gaze meet this presence daily, in the wind in your breath, in a stranger's smile, in a loved one's embrace, and you will slowly discover it is not because all is perfect that goodness is revealed, but because, even in the midst of chaos, one stands still, love still holds. And you may lift your eyes to meet Him, to be steadied, comforted, and led into peace. When you lift your song in days of ease, it is a joy shared. But when you dare to pray with a trembling voice, with sounds rising from a heart still bleeding, the whole universe seems to pause and listen, not because that sound thunders like lightning, but because in that frailty lies a holy purity that makes heaven itself turn its gaze. There are moments when you have nothing left to boast, of no achievement to display, only yourself and your tears, and it is precisely then that you draw near to the very source of life with a bare heart. And that bare heart is the most precious gift of all. It is not devotion tested by circumstances. It is worship in its deepest form, the surrender of yourself wholly into the hands of the one who knows every crack in your soul, a surrender that chooses weakness and truth over strength that is false. Do not measure the worth of your words by their volume or eloquence, for sometimes it is the stammer, the sob, the fragment that seems meaningless which reaches the deepest chamber of love. When you pray in pain, when you speak with a voice hoarse from long weeping, it is a sign that the mask has fallen, that you have laid down every false wall, and that makes communion real. Heaven does not require polished poetry, but a heart that offers. Not a flawless performance, but the truth unveiled. Not that you be enough, only that you belong with all that you are. Belonging cannot be measured by accomplishment or understanding. It is the simple offering of what you have, even if all you hold is a torn fragment of your heart. I see your tears as diamonds in the morning light, shining not because they are perfect, but because they are sincere. When you confess your fears, whisper your longing, or simply say, "I don't understand," that honesty moves the depths of love. I do not require you to prove understanding. I draw near when you choose to trust, even in loss. This trust opens the door to a bond not built on conditions. You do not need to do to be loved. You need only to be, to let yourself be seen, held, known. And when you believe without knowing every reason, you enter a realm beyond reason's reach, the realm of faith, of unconditional surrender. Remember, weakness is not a stain, but the road to freedom. When you allow yourself to be messy, to weep, to ask without an answer, you break the chains of reputation, appearances, and the lie of being good enough. The love I give is not scored, not earned by achievement. It grows in the meeting of two hearts laid bare. You may think heaven trembles only at resounding songs, but often it is the sigh, the soft plea, the silent cry of pain that makes the stillness between earth and sky most sacred. In pain, do not fear that you lose dignity. On the contrary, you are invited into truer living. There is beauty in weakness. Embrace the beauty of a heart no longer hidden, of a soul returning to its root. And when you accept this, my presence is no longer an abstract doctrine, but a living experience. You feel yourself lifted, arranged, and embraced in a love that does not scrutinize. This love does not demand that you be strong. It invites you to bring your frailty as the pathway to a new wholeness. People often think knowledge is required before belief, but some of the deepest faith grows from daring not to know, to admit you are lost, to confess your limits, to say, "I don't understand." This is the doorway to grace. For when you are not content with narrow knowledge, you leave space for a greater truth to fill you. In that humility, your roots grow deeper. Heaven does not reward cleverness with glittering trophies. It welcomes hearts that return, hearts that yearn, seek, and love, even without complete answers. Do not fear that such longing, voiced in sobs or whispers, will be dismissed as weakness. It is the mark of courage. Courage is not hiding wounds, but allowing wounds to be seen and healed. When you come to me in this state, I welcome you with unjudging arms, and from that place healing begins. You will discover that what seemed your most shameful hours become your most sacred moments, where transformation quietly germinates, where light streams out from the cracks. And when you pray through tears, you do not only receive grace for yourself, you become a source of hope for others. Someone is watching you. Someone will be comforted by your courage to bear the truth within. When you reveal your pain yet continue to trust, you open a way for others to do the same. By the small act of honesty, you light a candle in another's night. And through such hearts I weave healing, gathering tears into streams that refresh a thirsty community. So let your tears be not a mark of shame, but a liturgy of healing. In that liturgy, you need not present perfection, only truth. When you speak to me with all your naivety, your weariness, your unanswered questions, you are opening yourself for boundless love to enter every empty space. No one in heaven seeks a flawless self-report, only a heart that returns and allows itself to be touched. And if you fear rejection for being unworthy, let truth silence that fear. The love I give is not a prize for performance, but a gift for those who come. You do not need to be perfect to receive. You need only to belong with sincerity, even if sincerity comes through sobs, vacant stares, or broken whispers. This belonging is an invitation to come close, to be seen and to be healed. Finally, remember the softest part of your heart is where grace most easily rests. When you humble yourself, when you lay down pride to weep, when you place your fear before the fountain of love, you allow miracle to happen, not a passing wonder, but a steady transformation. And in that process you will see that heaven does not bow at your perfection, but at the honest cry of your soul that you chose to belong before you understood to trust, even when reason trembled, to offer yourself not to prove, but to meet. So keep singing, you may sing in peace, and keep worshiping even when tears fall. For it is in those very tears that the strongest testimony of love is written. You are not abandoned, you are loved, you belong, and you are wholly embraced. You are not the product of pain, you are not defined by loss, you are not marked forever as the broken one. You are, my child, loved by an unshakable love. I do not see you through the lens of your wounds, but through the triumph of the love I have for you. What has happened does not get to define you. Only I, the one who created you, have that authority. And I say you are not shattered, you are being shaped. You are not abandoned, you are being hidden for healing. The storm you have walked through does not shape you, my spirit does. And my spirit does not work carelessly. He knows you from within. He sees every fracture in your soul and is touching the places you've kept hidden. There are parts of you even you don't dare revisit, but I am gently restoring them. For what I began in you, I will not leave unfinished. I will complete it with my own hands, with my own breath, with the very love I have vowed never to withdraw. Though the days ahead may come suddenly unannounced without negotiation, I do not change. I am never surprised. I am never shaken. When you are caught off guard, I remain unmovable. When you despair, I remain your unwavering hope. When you have nothing left, I am still everything. I am the place where you can hide without needing to be strong, the place where you can exhale every burden without fear of reproach. A true refuge, not because the storms are absent, but because I remain unshaken in the midst of them. Let your heart lean into me like a child rests against their father's chest. No need for many words. No need to strive. Just be here. I am here, and I always will be. Remember this. My child, the battle you're fighting is not a battle fought alone. You do not carry it by yourself. There are angels warring on your behalf even now. There are spiritual realms shifting in response to your silent prayers. There are doors cracking open from within because you dared to praise in pain. Every small act of trust, every time you whisper amen through tears, every time you say, Lord, I still believe, causes hell itself to tremble. Do not fear. Though fear is real, it does not rule you. Do not lose heart. Though emotions may rise, they are not the final truth. Just believe not in an outcome, but in me. Believe in the one who saved you, who led you, who has kept you through every storm. Trust that if I brought you this far, I will take you further. And watch what I will do, not with eyes of doubt, but with eyes wide open in holy expectation. You will see what you thought was the end is only a pause in the story I am writing. You will see what was taken will be restored with multiplication. You will see what you believed was ruined will become the very place where I place my feet in your life, and you will sing. Not because everything is perfect, but because I am still God, good, faithful, and never changing. Now open your heart wide and hold nothing back. Speak to me with your full truth, with your hidden pains, and even with the hopes that have yet to take shape. Offer me your most honest prayer and let me touch you in your deepest place. Lord, my refuge. When my heart is flooded with doubt and I no longer know which way to go, remind me that I do not walk alone. Grant me faith to keep walking even just one small step each day. Heal the wounds I've grown used to living with. Let not the enemy's whispers of accusation choke the hope within me. I don't come to you to escape. I come to live in truth in your presence and in your unchanging love. Merciful God, I no longer know what to pray for. Every plan I've written seems shattered. Every once fiery dream has turned to ash. But if this is where you begin your work, then I surrender. Use what the enemy meant for harm to build what is eternal in me. Turn this darkness into the place where I learn to know you more deeply, not based on feelings, not needing visible miracles, but simply because you are there. Holy and true Father, forgive me for the times I doubted your love simply because the circumstances didn't match my expectations. Break the false definitions I've carried about blessing, success, and meaning. Help me not to confine you to past experiences. Open my eyes to the new thing you are doing, even if it comes quietly and simply. Teach me that you are still working even when I cannot feel it. Almighty God, my source of life, lift from me every burden you never asked me to carry. Every false expectation, every harsh standard, every external voice that has worn me out, silence them with your gentle whisper of grace. Give me courage to live authentically with scars, with an unfinished past, but with a future held by you. Let every breath I take be a living prayer, and every step I walk be a step of faith. Faithful God, I thank you not only for what you've done, but because you are unchanging. When everything around me shifts, you remain steady. When my heart wavers, your grace never leaves. I thank you because no pain has been wasted. Every dry season became a chance to know you as my true source of life. I thank you because your love is not tied to my performance, but rooted in your unchanging nature and Creator who formed me in love. Thank you for not letting me define myself by what happened to me, but by how you redeemed it. Thank you that the scars I once hid now become living testimonies. Thank you that even in my weakness you still call me beloved. Even in my doubt you are patient. Even in my slow steps you walk slowly with me. Lord of new beginnings, I praise you for what you are doing even when I don't yet understand, see, or receive it. Thank you for not working the way I expected, but in the way that is perfect. Thank you for building in me a resilient faith, a tender heart, and a soul that loves. Thank you that I am no longer who I was yesterday. Because of you, I am growing not by the world's standards, but into the glorious image of the one who loved me before I was even named. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue building a strong community of faith together.